Let's podcast. Alongside Joe Giglio, I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything you need into the cloud. Just like all of the Bill Belichick hype and promise, that's all up in the cloud now. It's all up in smoke after last night's debacle in Chapel Hill. I really don't know how else to describe it, Joe. Now that you've had a couple of hours to sleep on it after our OG After Dark, anything that stuck out, you missed, maybe you wanted to revisit? There's one thing I know I want to revisit. I was curious if you had anything you wanted to revisit after last night's After Dark.
Well, it was a disaster. Last night was a disaster. It was the worst case scenario for North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like full stop. It's fair to question their talent evaluation and who they added to this roster. It's fair to question why they thought they needed to add 70 new players. Because I watched the Ohio State-Texas game, and if you got a defensive end who's good enough to start for Ohio State, my guess is he's good enough to start for you.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, you've been mentioning Caleb Downs a lot, and this will come up a little bit later on when we talk about.
And it's not Caleb Downs. It's Atkinson.
No, I know it's Atkinson we're talking about, but I'm also now thinking about your points about Caleb Downs, right? You got this money, you go out and get these dudes because that's ultimately what you need.
Yeah.
Who made the pivotal stop in that game between Ohio State and Texas?
Trust me, that was the guy I had ID for them. But anyway, that's not a new point.
Yeah.
So last night was a disaster, and now really both of our main points about Carolina are coming to fruition. Yours was about the roster evaluation. Why is this going to work? Why does anybody think this is going to work? And mine was, how do you react to this game? Because this is the game that's going to determine your season. How you react to it determines your season. Can you get out of the mess that you've made? I think the schedule does afford them the ability to get out of the mess that they've made. I do.
I agree.
I still think 8-4 is a perfectly acceptable goal in play.
Mm-hmm.
But how is that different from what you've been? I don't know. I don't think that's the investment that you're making. And again, using Bill's own words, he's there to win national championships, not to be triangle good.
Yeah.
And go 8-4. The only thing I would say is their season, TCU and Clemson are the two teams on their schedule, in my opinion, who were better than they are on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. What are they? What are they on paper? Right? Like, I think it was our guy Grant Hughes
over at Inside Carolina.
In real time, I was telling you, man, they are really picking on Marcus Allen. Really, like they are really picking on Marcus Allen. And think about it. Look, we didn't have any information. Not the media. Anybody really knew what the hell was going on last night. Here's Grant's numbers on Marcus Allen. He missed 4 tackles and allowed 9 catches on 9 targets for 134 yards and a touchdown. He was also responsible for a pass interference.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, well, how did TCU know to pick on this guy? Like all of your, subterfuge and never talking and never giving anybody information, your bullshit with the depth chart where, look how cute we are. We're going to release a depth chart with nobody on it. Ha ha, wink, wink, nod, nod. That's what Bill Belichick would do. Look at the big brain on Bill. All that. And TCU still knew, hey, we're going to pick on this. I mean, they absolutely, Bill Belichick's mentor, Bill Parcells, is famous for giving his own defensive back the nickname Toast. Imagine what they're calling Marcus Allen behind the scenes right now in that film room. And that's where I think this starts. How does the old days, you call him Elvis Toast Patterson. You're Marcus Toast Patterson. You're Terry Glenn becomes she. Right?
I remember that.
In the old days, you question their manhood. You get them out there in the Oklahoma drill, and you're beating the absolute snot out of each other.
Can't do that now.
That it ain't the old days
because you're going to transfer that. You're going to transfer out the minute that.
So
happens.
How does he? Again, my main premise about this team, I thought they could be good, but I thought they were going to lose the first game. And how would they respond from losing to How would they respond to losing to TCU? That's still in play for them. How do you turn the things around now? Giving up 2 freebies on offense. These are things a normal coach can go into and say to a team, we got to cut out the mistakes, right? Can't have a pick 6 at the end of the half. That was bad. They had a scoop and score. Obviously, we can't do that. They had a 75-yard home run on us. You scheme that up a little bit. Maybe you can fix that. But there's a whole lot of Bizdelic in what I just said there, because you still lose 35-14 if you take out all the freebies.
Yeah, I had a couple of thoughts driving into the studio this morning. The first one is that the UNC boosters did get what they were looking for. I mean, I heard all offseason since the hire that this puts Carolina football on the map. It did.
Yeah,
we're talking about Carolina football.
They had a night to themselves. They had this national spotlight all to themselves,
and they got it all day today too, because we're not fully in on this. There's a crossover event too because of the NFL. Right, we got week 1 starting up on Thursday night. Bill Belichick is still of NFL interest to NFL insiders, so they were watching with great interest last night as well. Because if he's successful at North Carolina, I'm guessing there's probably a conversation with an NFL owner down the line, like, hey, man, you know what? Maybe it's been enough time. Maybe we bring Bill Belichick back. Not after last night, though. That was pretty embarrassing. So in a way, Carolina is getting what they wanted. They are the center of the football universe, just not in the positive way. Everybody's having their fun at the expense of Bill Belichick, which I want to get to that in a second, because there's another thing that I wanted to key in on as you brought up. It's the now what. I jotted this down. Now what? Right? It happened. You did your old well walk. You looked miserable. You're now acclimated to what a college atmosphere is like. Okay, cool. Now what? And I've had multiple people tell me that the vibes in the building are bad. Of course, my immediate response to that is the vibes are never good in a football facility after a loss. It always sticks with me, something Steve Logan told us back in the radio days, the former ECU coach, when he said, you don't want to be in a locker room after a loss. It's a war zone. Quote, it's a war zone. Everybody's blaming each other, yada, yada, yada. And then you got to pick up and move on. To your point, how does Belichick handle the room to make sure that this season isn't lost with some winnable games down the stretch before you see Clemson? How do you recover from that? That, much like last night, we didn't know what we were going to get until kickoff. We don't know the answer to that. We're not in the room. We don't know how he's addressing his players. But I do think it's a valid question to say, hey, man, you've been used to one way with professionals and who you've been up with. How do you address it with college kids?
Yeah.
Who don't have to put up with this shit if they don't want to, because they can just transfer. There's no contracts. There's no CBA. There's none of that stuff. You don't like the vibe? You can just say, screw it, man. I'm going somewhere else, right? So that's one thing that I'm curious about.
Quite frankly, at 73, I don't think he has the energy to keep up with them. Don't even start with the fucking girlfriend nonsense. He does not have the energy to handle. And B, at 73 years old, you know what he really can't do? Change who he is.
Right.
Bill Belichick is who Bill Belichick is. He's the dour motherfucker standing on the sideline, not talking to a single soul on his team, barely even acknowledging his own son before the game. So it's like, at some point, you have to show an interest in being the coach at the University of North Carolina. At some point.
Which gets to the other thing I jotted down this morning, because I was thinking about what you had brought up in the David Hale, Andrea Adelson piece on ESPN. Like, well, why is he here?
Why are you here?
Why is he here? And I did a radio hit with Sirius XM with our friends Wes Durham and Roddy Jones, and I was contemplating that in real time. Coffee hasn't really gone into my veins yet, so I was a little loopy. But I asked that question rhetorically. Why is he here? Well, he's here because the NFL doesn't want him. That's the part that people have to square and have had a hard time squaring, because they're like, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you want a multiple Super Bowl winner? Well, because they saw how things ended in New England, and owners talk and they pay attention, and they're like, do you really want to deal with all the things that you just laid out with? I can't change who you are.
Right.
So why do I want to bring that into my environment when the NFL has changed and you haven't necessarily changed? There's also the record of Bill Belichick without Tom Brady that is looming all over this, that will prevent, look, man, it's one thing to have a great coach, but you also need a great quarterback to go with it. And if we don't have the two, it's not going to work out that way, right?
This is why I argue with my son. I argue with whoever. He can't be the greatest coach of all time if he has a losing record without Tom Brady. You can't be.
So that's when we get to the why are you here? Well, first and foremost, he's here because the NFL didn't want him. And if he truly wanted to rehab his image, like a lot of other NFL coaches have gone back into college. He's not the first NFL guy to go to college and things like that. Why North Carolina? Because in the history of college football, North Carolina is not the one that's a turnkey, okay? You know my bit on this.
Yep.
You know my bit on this. If you truly want to achieve GOAT status in college football, Nick Saban, I'm looking at you.
Urban
Meyer, I'm looking at you. If you truly want to convince me that you're the greatest to ever do it here. Not just North Carolina. I'm just saying here. Do it at Carolina. Do it at State. Because, man, I'm looking at 2 perpetual 500 programs with any number of coaches who've tried it any number of different ways, and the results are the same. And that was the most eye-opening part to me last night as I was thinking about it. I watched what was the difference from last night and Mac Brown? What was the difference between last night and Larry Fedora? What was the difference between last night and John Bunting? There wasn't one. The defense was still missing tackles. They still looked at times like they just, I don't want to say quit because quit's a really harsh word to say, but they got so deflated and so inward, they stopped playing football. They stopped until they slightly recovered there with a change of pace with Max Johnson. So if you're telling me a multiple Super Bowl champion, the greatest of all time, comes here and you're getting the same crap on defense, which is his thing, as Mac Brown, what are we doing here, man? Why are you here? It's not a turnkey operation. So I find all that kind of stuff interesting, and that also gets back to what do you do from here?
And I think that's one of the big talking points from last night, and that's their talking point, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever be confused where talking points come from. We have 70 new players. Well, how did they come up with that graphic?
They talked to the
from
coaches.
Carolina.
Yes.
Okay. 40 transfers, 30 freshmen. In this day and age, I understand a roster turnover. In this day and age, though, I don't understand 70 new fucking guys, man. Like, that's a miscalculation on their part.
Again, their guys.
Look at Atkinson.
Yeah.
There was a white linebacker who played really well against UConn in the bowl game. That kid would have been Vrabel or whoever. You leave him out there and you wrap your arms around him. Max Johnson, I get that there were some injury concerns about him, but you could have saved money. All of this now is with the backdrop of all the money that they've invested in this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying like the wasted money. I'm talking about like you stepped up and said, we're going to have them. They are things we've learned during the transition from Peter Kamanos to Tom Dundon.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you heard that Tom Dundon say, we're a cap team? We're a cap team.
Yeah.
And we've seen results that go with it because of the coach, by the way. North Carolina football is a cap team.
Yeah.
Buddy. Buddy.
Again, that's the hubris of believing in their talent evaluation. And I'm looking squarely at Mike Lombardi, who's never done this on the college level, and we're acting as though he was going to take, well, he was an architect with the Super Bowl teams. Was he, though? Was he? We don't know about that. So going forward, and we'll revisit this when we
But 70's a lot. That's jarring.
But again, that's within their control. They didn't have
no, I
to
know
do
that. But for some reason, I had not seen that number until last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not deep in the weeds of North Carolina's roster. Please don't get me wrong.
Well,
But
even those who are don't know, but because they weren't talking about
that
it.
became a huge talking point last night. 70 new players.
Yeah.
Like Joe, and we're not talking about guys like there's some Washington connectors there. This isn't Kurt Signetti going from JMU to Indiana, bringing 25 guys with him who know him, right?
That's the same thing.
One of those talking points that I think we'll continue to say all year long. And when we write the actual obit for Belichick in his time at Carolina, the lack of a guy is going to be very, very high on that list. The hubris is going to be very, very high on that list. And you say, why is he here? He gave us the answer in his opening press conference. He said it beats working. He got blackballed or whatever by the NFL, whatever term you want to call it. The fact that he is not the coach of the New York Giants tells you every single thing you should ever know.
Yep.
Him wrapping his arms around this raggedy white sweatshirt from 1950 something. How the Giants don't wrap their arms around, like he's sitting here going, I coached LT. I coach LT. You know who that resonates with? The New York Football Giants. Not Carolina, not 18-year-old recruits. Like, he should be the coach of the New York Giants. And with 6 Super Bowls, and please don't get me started with the 8, because goddamn
staff.
That thing drives me nuts.
He's on staff, Joe.
With his 6 Super Bowls, right?
6 is enough.
That's plenty. It's more than anyone else.
I know.
You don't need to embellish it, Russell Wilson.
I know.
God. He got told by the NFL, not only do we not want you, you're not welcome here.
Yeah.
And so what he said in his opening press conference was, it beats working. He was so at wit's end having to go out with his friend, Pat McAfee, every week. Pat, he's not your fucking friend, dude. Just so you know. his friend, Pat McAfee, he was so fed up with that shit of trying to be, I'm going to go on the Manning cast and it'll scratch an itch.
No, it won't.
So the NFL doesn't want you. You're 15 wins from setting the all-time record. So what do? You come up with this plan to make a bunch of money at North Carolina, which you could do.
Mm-hmm.
You probably figured I could take care of 2 of my sons, which he's done.
He has.
You probably figured Jordan can do something.
He's taking care of his guy, Mike.
Then you go take care of Lombardi and his friends. And now all the while you're coaching football. So you scratch an itch. Yeah. It's not underdog sports because he was doing ads for them last year, remember?
Yeah.
So he's a little bit of that mad scientist. Like, I always tell you, I'd retire tomorrow and go play every fucking golf course in the world. That's what I would do. You'd go to every record shop in the world. These guys retire and they think they have an idea of what they're going to do. Mm-mm. But the truth of the matter is they want to be Bear Bryant. They want to walk out on the field and stroke out and leave us and leave this mortal coil. Mm-hmm. That's how they all want to go from that generation. So he told us that day, this beats working. So he can't get a job in the NFL. Now, if I was him, I would have coached lacrosse somewhere. That's what I would have done. You got plenty of money. You could stay out of the spotlight. You could move back to Annapolis, coach a lacrosse high school team, and do whatever you want to your heart's content. You're interacting with players,
but you can't stick it to
for
the
love
NFL.
of money. But then you can't stick it. You can't settle your old scores.
The one thing you're leaving out here is the settling of the old scores.
But think about how skewed that thinking is. I'm going to go to Carolina. I'm going to go in their head. I bet you they were thinking they could pull an SMU or an Indiana. We can go 10-2. We can make the playoff, and the NFL is then going to come knocking and calling me up, saying, "You took Carolina to the playoff."
Like I said, that was the plan.
So you can come back. Yeah. We're going to get rid of Brian Daboll now. We'll forgive you, and we'll let you.
Now that gets to my last.
When I say Dave Doran can't change after 13 years, why the fuck would Bill Belichick change after 40 years?
You're actually dancing around the last point, and we'll close this portion of it on this, and we'll go back to the OG Sports phone in Hey Joe. Somewhere along the lines, I don't know exactly when this happened, and it might have been the Jordan Hudson stuff, but Bill Belichick has become a punchline. Okay, and I think one thing that has been undersold in how this season was going to be approached and how it's different from Deion is that Deion's actually at the end of the day respected, and people also know when you mess with Deion, he'll come after you, as we've joked multiple times. Deion will look directly in the camera and beef with Virginia football. Okay? Think about that. Yeah. So Deion embraces the spotlight. He is a character. He understands how to massage the message. And when you kick that hornet's nest, Deion and his belief in his kids and Travis Sanders might get you, right? He might even get you in some of these situations, or he'll at least call you out. Belichick's never going to do any of that stuff. He'll have his minions do it for him. Or Jordan Hudson will just vague tweet through it or post some Taylor Swift song to send some sort of message. There is
his muse. Maybe that's why he's there. The muse said, "Here's a great idea, Bill."
While there is a coaching respect for Bill Belichick, there's also a second Bizdelic reference. You show respect by showing no respect. And right now there is zero respect for North Carolina football in general. And there is zero respect for Bill Belichick when it comes to the game itself. And if you don't believe me,
I apologize, TCU. I was not familiar with your game.
Buddy.
I was not familiar with
you. You thought Big East Twitter was nuts? TCU social Zoomer media is off. It's off kilter.
Holstered.
So I say this, and it's something that I've been warning people to get ready for all off season, and it finally came to fruition. And I also am guilty of forgetting, that's right, I forgot TCU goes hard in the paint on social media, okay? Every opponent with some chance of beating this team has everything ready to go to clown Bill Belichick because we live in a social media age. All this stuff plays out in the open, okay? So TCU, you brought up the Big 12 Twitter
last night at the ready.
No. TCU is unhinged. First thing they do is they dredge up the Hulu announcement from August 24th, and they tweet out, "When does episode 1 come out?" Bro, come on now. Then we've got the Hypnotoad. Like, I got to be on drugs to understand stuff. And they start with Pablo Torre.
Yeah, there are questions about how original is this recipe?
Pretty well preserved for something that survived the 80s.
I think you guys should come. Pause.
When y'all gonna learn to leave me alone?
No.
Uh-oh.
That's my dog show. That's my dog. That's my dog show.
The ceiling is the
To be clear, that was not a fan account.
No,
That was not a burner account.
no.
That was TCU's official football account.
I apologize. For
And I got news for you. It was not made last night.
No, I apologize to the podcast only audience because that was mostly a visual meme
Yeah.
with all the sound effects and things like that. So to describe it to the podcast audience, this is a gonzo acid trip of a video with
Hunter
all
Thompson.
the frogs and all this other stuff and absolutely roasting Bill Belichick in the process. You show respect by showing no respect, which then gets us to Bud Clark. This was aggregated by TMZ Sports. This was in the locker room after the game. You're thinking Bud Clark. Oh, that's right. That's the guy with the pick six. Here's what he did in the locker room.
Belichick got a call for his girlfriend. Yeah, hey, Belichick gonna talk to his girlfriend. He said.
Call his girlfriend. He's sad. Buddy, this is going to be every single time they lose a game. Every single time.
And I got news for you. Carolina does not have it in them to do that back to any of these teams.
No, they don't because
They do not. That is not in their DNA.
But they have a very fine balloon arch at the press conference.
They do.
That's very Carolina, very sophisticated. We're here for a party. Real quick on the balloon thing, because our guy Mitch had tweeted it out and went viral and things like that. The balloon, that's one of those, another sign of Carolina football is not taken seriously. Okay. And before people, what are you talking about? If you've gone to Carolina at all in the last 5 years, and I don't go to as many games as I used to anymore for family reasons, right? They've always had a balloon arch. There was multiple Mac Brown press conferences with that balloon arch in the background because
they're recruits. You're bringing
they're hosting things, right? They're
Families.
hosting things.
Yeah.
Now, should they have dialed back some of the third, fourth quarter programming that was like, we're here, it's this, it's that? Yeah, maybe you want to dial it back. Maybe you want to take the balloon structure down. It's not really a cause for celebration, but that's just Carolina football. And I saw a lot of college football people who have not been to Carolina in a long time going, what's up with this balloon arch?
Why are they storming the field?
Because it's
They
Carolina.
only beat Citadel.
Because you haven't been here. And again, that ties back to why people just don't take Carolina seriously. And I'll wrap with this. I know people have been clowning the third quarter exodus of Keenan, of the fans. I don't blame the fans at all.
41-7.
I don't blame the fans at all because you also have decades of institutional trauma unfolding in the third quarter for anybody who has ever given a damn about Carolina football. And Carolina football fans do exist, but Carolina football fans have also been sold multiple times. This is when we're going to take football seriously. No, you don't understand. Now we're serious. We're going to fulfill the promise. Here we are. And as I said at the beginning, what they saw on Monday night in primetime, it was like, well, shit. Saw this with Mac. What's the difference? And that's ultimately what hurts Carolina fans in the grand scheme of things.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
Sklar Brothers coming to the Rialto on September 19th.
Oh,
Friday.
nice.
That is for the American Cancer Society, raising a lot of money. And we're going to be there on Friday, September 19th with the Sklar Brothers, with our friends Chip Patterson, CBS Sports, Cover 3, and Mike Maniscalco.
Love that. Yes.
So we're going to have fun. I'm thinking we bring back You're Full of Shit Giglio for one night only.
Whoa.
We can have Team Patterson, Team Maniscalco.
Okay.
We can get some audience participation.
Okay.
Are we ripping off Split Zone Duo? Maybe. Game shows. So we do that. We split them into teams, and we can give away some prizes before the Sklar Brothers make you laugh.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time?
Sounds good by me.
Go to therialto.com and get your tickets today. We will be there.
Promise not to use the sink upstairs.
Yeah, I don't think Hayes wants you to unleash the water feature again.
Okay.
just to say, just don't do that. Just don't do that. The OG pop-up shop is closed. Shut down. Thanks to everybody who bought hats, tank tops, comfort colors, pocket tees. We appreciate that. We got some other stuff cooked up. We might have another OG hat vault coming out here soon. You've seen this hat. There's a place for them. We might be doing some of this in the future. But in the meantime,
we got First Friday.
We got First Friday. So
we're here.
This Friday. So if you want access to hats and OG Light,
yes,
hit up Raleigh Times for First Friday because we'll be out there. Well, I'll be out there for a brief period of time.
I'll be there. I got the hats. I think Mikey P is going to come.
Okay, cool.
As well.
So I'll be there for a brief moment before I go to the 9 Inch Nails show at Lenovo.
Oh, is that Friday?
That's Friday night. Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be the case. So go check that out. But in the meantime, if you're looking for, look, it's shorts and hoodie season right now. We got hoodies at breakingtea.com/OG. breakingtea.com/OG. We got a whole bunch of great Breaking Tea material out there. So go check that out. Speaking of the weather, look, you couldn't have asked for a better weekend, and I hope it stays this way. And I'm sure a lot of you were out there grilling. I saw a lot of tailgating out in Chapel Hill.
Did you not get the jingle I sent you?
Oh, damn it. You did send it to me. Hold on a second.
Hold, please.
Let me hit pause so we can get a new jingle here. All right, we're back. I have the jingle loaded into the StreamYard. What's Bud got for us?
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the week.
I appreciate the rescue sound effects on that. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. I really enjoyed that. So go to ncgrillrescue.com. We got a jingle for it and everything. So as Bud joked, no need to bury it. You can rescue.
You've already invested in it.
So give it some love with ncgrillrescue.com. What is your rescue?
In my someone who's in desperate need of a rescue, Alabama football.
Oh, buddy.
Because as our friends at Duke and North Carolina basketball have learned, when you lose a Hall of Fame coach, it's really weird what happens after that. Like, it's kind of sort of strange.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the next segment, actually, as it relates to some ACC football.
But for Alabama now, in their last 10 games, they're 5-5. Their losses include Vanderbilt, a terrible Oklahoma team, Michigan in a bowl game.
You're too focused.
And Florida State.
You're too focused on not winning, Joe. Too focused on that. You should look at their schedule. Their strength of schedule is the thing.
They did beat LSU in that span last year.
That is what you should focus on. That's what you should focus on.
There is that.
Yes. So go to ncgrillrescue.com. I need a smoothie rescue later today. I am dragging today. I also need a little detox. I had one too many blue cups yesterday. In addition to
That's some beer, though, right?
Yeah, but I had
they're like
32.
That's too much, Joe.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
Sometimes I got to see if I still got it in me. Sometimes I got to see if I still got it in me. You get that dog in you? And I do with the blue cups. I drank a lot of blue cups. Anyway, I'm going to need a detox. I'm going to need a smoothie break today. I'm going to need that green smoothie. And our friends at Happy and Hail can do that for you. So go check them out online. Download the app. Use that promo code OG25 to save 25% off your order. And then you can start your tailgate detox today. So again, use that promo code OG25. Speaking of saving some money, our guy Matt Davis is going to save you some money. You might be in a situation like me where you have a new driver and you went, wait, how much is my insurance going up by?
I'm sorry, this 16-year-old is going to cost me.
What? Okay, maybe I need to reassess what I'm doing here. Matt Davis can help you out with that, like he did earlier this year with me, trying to understand what I need to do to even get him on a license. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So, insuregarner.com. Call him directly at 919-779-8277. Insuregarner.com. Let's continue talking a little ACC football. Thanks to our friends at Bloom and Blinds. They brought you the After Dark last night. They bring you conversations about ACC football this season. So check them out online at bloominblinds.com. Contact Chris and they're going to get you going. Get 10 or more window treatments. You get 10% off. So let's continue on with the ACC football. Joe, I feel like the best way to go over some week one overreactions or proper reactions is to go directly to the OG Sports phone.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
This is from a 919.
I already know Joe Giglio is going to have a damn field day about calling that Florida State win. He's going to hang his hat on that for about a year and a half. And honestly, I would too.
Had a few text messages as well to the OG Sports phone, which were pretty funny. What was it? This is from a 704. There will be no living with Giglio after the Florida State win. Will there? This is from a 919.
Giglio was right. You know, it's funny. I think Joe Giglio has been one of the finest wordsmiths in triangle sports media in the 21st century. Yet his favorite phrase, his favorite words are very simple. You were right. You were right that Gus Malzahn was an inspired hire and that Tommy Castellanos would be a good fit for Florida State in that offense. You were right that Alabama maybe shouldn't be trusted as such an overwhelming favorite on the road in week one. Now, I think I'm right that Alabama is the more talented roster. But for the fourth time in just 14 games, Kalen DeBoer has shown the inability to get that talent to play to its potential against the lesser opponent as a double-digit favorite. So what now? Well, because it didn't take long to see what was happening in Tallahassee on Saturday, I admitted I was wrong, and my mind quickly drifted to three of my favorite words. Four of my favorite words. Wouldn't it be hilarious? Because the Alabama dynasty officially crumbling to the team that it unjustly kept out of the college football playoff in 2023 is hilarious. And Florida State doing to Alabama what Georgia Tech did to it last season, playing bully ball to expose a fraudulent top 10 team, also worth a chuckle. The great flattening among the top tier in college football continues, and with it, more opportunities for Wouldn't It Be Hilarious. But we'll discuss those on another date. For now, I'll close with a tip of the cap and a point to the passer. You were right, Giglio. You were right.
If you couldn't figure out that voice, that was Chip Patterson from CBS Cover 3 podcast.
The week that you were gone, one of the episodes I did with Chip, and we talked a lot about college football. And Chip works with two Florida State people who really, 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 really have inside information about Florida State
Bud
football.
Elliott, got his start recruiting with Tomahawk Nation, and former quarterback Danny Cannell.
So he works with two people, and they were just kind of like shoulder shrug, like, yeah, we'll be better than 2-10, but like I wouldn't expect any miracles out of this team. Now, here's the problem. I went back and listened to the segment, and I'm very excited about that first game. But I couldn't stop there.
Of course not.
It was a two-part prediction. I said Florida State was going to beat Alabama and win the ACC. So I can't take a victory lap quite yet on that prediction because it was really in the same breath that I said, not only are they going to beat Alabama. So
no, I'm glad you brought it up, though. I didn't realize that you had also predicted Florida State to win the ACC back then. But, as we've been cautioning with all of the UNC stuff and any other conversation we have about week one, we caution anyone to take too much out of the results because week one is funky. This is summer protocols. We can have an entire episode about fixing the college preseason so that you don't have games like this. Right?
Or the Texas-Ohio State game, quite frankly, was
kind of a dud. It was a dud.
Yeah.
It was a dud. If they got the QB right, and Gus Malzahn's going to do Gus Malzahn things in this ACC, then yes, they're going to be in the running for the ACC championship. The questions are, will Mario Cristobal at Miami? Because I do like Carson Beck. I do like that offensive line, which definitely set some tones in that game against Notre Dame, which is what Notre Dame does well. Okay. Historically, that's what they do well. Miami was very good in that game. But they also have the Mario Cristobal of it all, in that you think Dave Doran loves to sit on a lead? Mario says to Dave, hold my café con leche because I'm about to show you how to milk something for 30 minutes. And then you got Clemson.
Well,
and Cade Klubnik.
So let's go back to Florida State real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
You have to have difference makers. Okay.
Mhm.
So you can have a coach like Gus Malzahn, but you have to have difference makers.
Well, Castellanos is certainly a difference
I
maker.
think Castellanos fits that Nick Marshall, that the Auburn team that actually lost to Florida State for the championship.
Yeah.
That's his, you are right in Gus Malzahn's kitchen when you have a quarterback like that who could do some different things. Florida State's problem is I'm not sure how many difference makers they have beyond Castellanos. Okay. The thing about Miami that was so impressive, and maybe we get your dad, maybe we get Archer on. Number 10, Malachi Tony. Tell me how many times, Joe, we watched this growing up.
Yep.
The wiggle on this kid was just so impressive. I mean, he looked like he was straight from the U documentary, the plays that he was making. And
when he had CJ Daniels too with the one-handed catch.
That was different, right? That was an unbelievable catch. But Tony is a true game breaker,
I get
difference maker. We just don't see that many of them in college football.
Yeah.
You add that with their outstanding offensive line. And then the other part about this, Carson Beck, I did not bet. I bet on the under in the first half of this game, which was right. I thought I told you on this program, I thought Miami was going to win this football game. I couldn't do it because I had Carson Beck PTSD from the previous year of losing all of those big game bets that I put on Georgia last year.
Sure.
So to his credit, Carson Beck came out and looked like Carson Beck from 2023. That ain't easy to do. After the year that he had, the injury that he had, all of the off-season, true off-season turmoil, getting the Lamborghini stolen, this, that, and the other. How
does one get a Lamborghini stolen?
I know we've been over this. Apparently, he doesn't have the club. I'm in 2025. I don't know how you'd have a dinger in your car.
I'm still processing that.
So I thought the most impressive thing for the ACC, and not because it was for the ACC, but it was for Miami. Miami put themselves in a position to make the college football playoff as an at-large team. Ironically enough, in following the same path that Notre Dame did last year, you win your opener, you put it in your back pocket, and you can use it later down the road because Notre Dame's going to be in the conversation later on down the road. And well, guess what? When you're on a board, just like you are in the NCAA tournament for basketball, when you're on a board, you go, hey, here are two teams on the board. Well, this one beat that one. Well, we got to count that for something, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that was the most important result of the weekend for the ACC. Miami beating Notre Dame. Clemson, I think, will be fine. And if you want to add on here with
there's really
Kate Klubnik was not the number 1 overall pick in the draft. What?
Right. We do have to have it. Look,
wait. Kate Klubnik, when he's not playing NC State or not playing the University of North Carolina, is just another quarterback.
There's nothing wrong with having a good, capable operator quarterback, but he's not dynamic. Like I'm watching.
He's not a difference maker.
You're watching South Carolina, Virginia Tech, right?
Difference maker.
Sellers is a difference maker. Once again, as you know, because me watching South Carolina usually comes at the expense of watching an ACC team go, yeah, I could say cover that guy.
Nick Carver.
Right.
Every person who plays the NCAA 26 was like, you mean the guy with 99 speed? Let's just throw a go route.
No, how about that? And Sellers makes plays.
He does.
He makes plays.
He does.
So Klubnik's not that guy. That's okay.
He's not that guy against better competition. He is that guy against the ACC.
Twofold against ACC competition and having better players around you, which is also where Dabo has doubled down on the development of the players he has. Klubnik is supposed to be part of that. So once again, we are staring at another ACC good Clemson, but not nationally good Clemson. And there's a difference of what the standard is with Dabo and what you're looking for there. And I'm not seeing anything with Clemson against a fine LSU team. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't sizzle for me.
Going back to coaching and what coaches' roles actually are.
Yeah.
For beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Beginning of the second half. I thought Brian Kelly put on his work boots in the second half of that football game. And I really thought Nussmeier was, even before then.
Yeah.
Because they had a touchdown taken off the board. Don't forget that should not have been taken. That was the classic Clemson home cooking call.
Yeah.
And they always are on the sideline, right by the Clemson sideline. That's really weird. I don't understand how this always happens down in Death Valley.
Weird.
That's bizarre.
Very strange.
I think Clemson will be fine. I think it puts pressure on them to beat South Carolina at the end of the year, but probably they're going to have to beat them anyway.
Yeah.
But they could still win the ACC. But if you're Jim Phillips and you saw that, because lost in our moment last night for Carolina and their pregame and all the hype and all their stuff, I thought Miami Stadium last night looked as good as it has at any point since they left the Orange Bowl. I thought the place was full.
Yeah, I know,
I get
but
they're
it's
Notre
Notre
Dame fans.
Dame.
I get all that.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying for that area, that game,
Mm-hmm.
were there a lot of Notre Dame fans
Yeah.
there? But when Notre Dame's in town playing Miami, it brings out.
I haven't seen that
It brings
building
out.
full that way.
Yeah, I
I
get
haven't seen it. People always joke Miami's got more fans on Twitter than they have in real life.
Mhm.
Well, all those fake fans on Twitter showed up on Sunday night.
They'll show up for Notre Dame.
And I thought that was an unbelievable sign for Miami because that was a game they desperately needed to win.
Yeah.
And the way that they won the game as well. You're right. Let's not,
It's just
hey,
week
Mario
one.
Cristobal's not changing.
No.
Mario Cristobal's not changing. There's probably a game on that schedule they lose because of him.
Yes.
But he's put them in an unbelievable position, offensive line wise and defensive line wise. You win football games up front.
Mhm.
I mean, the formula does not change.
Now, national note. I guess we can get into the conversation with the question, what's going to get uglier over the next couple of weeks? Is it the Alabama coach discourse or Arch Manning discourse? What's going to get uglier?
Well, Alabama fans, as a default mode, are unhinged.
Mhm.
They've just been spoiled by that. They are a lot like some of our friends down the road. They've been spoiled by their Hall of Fame coach.
You mean it's not? This happens to every blue blood program.
Yeah.
You believe in the institution,
Right.
not
the coach,
the
not the
coach,
individual.
not the individual
Yeah.
who helps you get to this point.
Yes.
And it's a dismissal of Nick Saban as though, hey man, remember what you were before Nick took the job.
I was going to say, remember now, they, much like Carolina basketball, they had Dean Smith and Roy Williams. They had Bear Bryant and Nick Saban.
Right.
Like,
You've had two of the greatest coaches to ever do it. So yeah,
you've
man.
had the two greatest coaches.
Now
to
you
do it
have
at the
now
college
you're
level.
DeBoer and you have to deal with this crap. Good luck with
and,
that.
and I think DeBoer is a fine coach. He's not a good fit. And I know why he took the job. He got
Mhm.
doubled up. Washington was in a limbo and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's hey, who else were they going to get anyway?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for real?
But you can also ask that question beyond DeBoer. Who are you going to get anyway? Nick Saban ain't coming back. That was my favorite part about Tommy Castellanos. Remember, the whole thing was you ain't got Nick to come save you.
I know.
And all the Alabama
accuracy.
players and all the Alabama players showed up to SEC Media Day saying the disrespect will be addressed. The disrespect will be. No, it was not addressed.
Actually,
Tommy
it
did
wasn't.
his thing, man.
And also, he was just being honest.
He was being honest.
You know?
Nick's not coming to save you. And that's the thing that's going to be hard for Alabama fans to square. And when you also have the circus ringleader in Paul Feinbaum that's going to continue to stir that kind of stuff, that's going to get completely unhinged. But the Arch Manning thing is interesting because there's an NFL element to Arch Manning. And we started this segment with calls about you were right. I didn't get any calls saying I was right about Arch Manning. Where are my sports phone calls?
I was just about to tell you, you called this.
Where are my calls? Why come I never get the call that I was right?
We might owe Sarkisian an apology, although he's another one of those guys where I think he might be a little bit too smart for his own good sometimes.
So here's the thing,
right?
I want to be really, really clear on this.
7 points against Matt Patricia.
I'm not here to tell you that Arch Manning is a fraud. That's not what I was getting at. It's just like, let's have some honest conversations about what we know and what we don't know about Arch Manning. And if you take Manning off the back of that jersey, how are we talking about this individual, especially one who could not beat out Quinn Ewers for the job?
Who was,
and I mentioned this on OG.
Pretty ordinary.
I mentioned this with OG Business with Dimitri when we got on this conversation about how is the media going to massage these things. And what I saw was bending over backwards to try to apologize for that performance. I'm sorry, but 3 quarters and 38 yards, that's not Matt Patricia giving you a masterclass in defensive scheme.
No.
That's not what that was. That was an inability for people just to be honest for once and say, Arch Manning wasn't good. It's okay to say that. Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are not going to show up in black ski masks at your house if you say, hey man, your nephew wasn't that good on the big stage. That's not what's going to happen.
But they're my friends.
I know. There's a larger issue. That's
my friends.
I'll save that for another day. I got that one in the holster, right?
Now, I wonder.
But here's the thing. We're not going to know jack shit about Arch Manning the next couple of weeks because of their schedule. They play San Jose State. They play UTEP, right?
UTEP.
And then they play San Houston State before they go to the Swamp. Do they go to the Swamp on October 4th? Or they host
do. They go to Florida.
So they got a ranked matchup, what should be a top 25 ranked matchup. But here's the bigger thing about this is where I'm going to get with you on Sarkisian. Let's take Arch out of it. You're the former AP voter.
Mm-hmm.
Did that look like a number one team to you?
Which one?
Texas.
No. No.
And FPI is so wonky that Texas is still being like, it's almost like Ohio State was punished for beating Texas.
This is what I want to ask you. Okay. You could turn on the Miami game and see number 10 and go electric.
Did Texas have that?
Right. You look at Texas, and I wonder if Arch Manning doesn't need a little more, or like a Bryce Young, right? Like, hey, look at this is what the guy could be.
Yep.
With these pieces around him.
Yes.
But when you ask him to do too much, now you're getting yourself into a little bit of a situation. Listen, I thought across the national landscape, the most impressive team to me was actually Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
You're gonna fall for it.
No. I'm just saying, like, but no.
I know what you're
offensive
saying.
line wise, they were able to run the football. Okay.
Big game opening weekend.
And
Notre Dame,
and I thought Notre Dame didn't really miss a beat with Lloyd Carr's grandson. By the way,
CJ Carr. Yeah.
Damn.
I know
Michigan,
we're old.
What is happening here?
Yeah, we're old, and he's there.
What?
Right.
What? Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Because Notre Dame is legit up front, both sides of the ball. So I thought Notre Dame looked a lot like Notre Dame has looked the last few years, and they were up to that challenge. Most ACC teams have not been up to that challenge. Penn State obviously played nobody, so it's kind of hard to figure out what Penn State's up to. Texas, Ohio, even Ohio State. Ohio State scored 14 points. Ohio State does have a game breaker. I'll give Texas credit.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, oh, hey, Jeremiah Smith, you're not touching the fucking ball.
This gets back to
just so you know.
This gets back to preseason stuff. This game is going to look a hell. I was actually texting some of the hockey dads, including Aaron, who's a big Ohio State guy. And I was like, this is going to be a great matchup in January.
We'll see it
Texas
again.
And Ohio. We'll see it again. And I'll be curious to see how Arch Manning's trajectory goes as well. I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, he's a fraud. I'm simply saying we were applying way too much, like we know for a fact this will be the case. And it leads to Dan Orlovsky, speaking of that Miami Notre Dame game. I don't know if you watched the halftime, but Dan Orlovsky was like TCU levels unhinged.
Breaking down about the Arch Manning.
Apologizing for Arch Manning and making Matt Patricia sound like he was.
This was all Matt Patricia.
No, it wasn't.
Resist.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the Belichick defensive coordinator did look like about like $8 million. The one who does have Caleb Downs looks amazing. But the one who doesn't is embarrassed this morning.
You mean talent matters? Weird.
Wait. Bill Belichick's system works with an unbelievable hammer at safety? No.
This is why you come to us.
No.
This is why. It's because you can't get this level of detail and analysis anywhere else. Just like there's a lot of things you can't get anywhere else unless you're on DraftKings. So check out the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use that promo code OG25. Week 1 NFL is here. Who is hyped for Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, the Jags? -3.5 right now, Joe. Plus 100, -3.5 according to DraftKings Sportsbook right now. I love the quick single game parlays.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm going to do it right now. Plus 1,300, $10. Okay.
What do we got here?
Here's what we got. We got Bryce Young, 250 plus yards. Tedero McMillan, plus 50 receiving yards. Chuba Hubbard, plus 70 rushing yards. And Bryce Young, two plus touchdowns.
Okay.
Buddy, $5 gang. Let's go. I'm in. It's that simple on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So week 1 starting up. Every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings. Every crazy single game parlay that DraftKings just fed me, and I just gave $5, right? Why not? Let's go. Let's see what happens. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And it's not just football, man. We're talking first touchdown, fireworks, anytime TD rushes, live bets. You live on that live line. It's all at DraftKings. Every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. You bet $5, you will get $300 in bonus bets instantly, Plus, you can grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So with the season starting up, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use that promo code OG25. That's code OG25. You'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. I know we just did OG Gambling Syndicate, and before we talk about Miller Lending, I feel like I have to tap into the old Hank bit with Gordon Miller, who's now joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline.
Or just tap into the fact that he knows a good sign. He knows how to read the tea leaves. He knows the signs.
Yeah, Gordon, I got to imagine that you had a field day last night with Belichick's debut.
Hey, Joe, do you want to read the text that I kept sending you during the game? That second half.
Hammer. Take TCU now. Bet TCU now.
It's now, right? Starting at 7-7. It just yeah. It was. I did see Ryan Brown for Purdue though. He had a really good performance this weekend.
The quarterback that they cut.
Yeah, the quarterback. Yeah. Like, no. It's going to be Max Johnson or Gio Lopez, but we'll see. We'll see.
Right. No, it was. I've never seen anything play out like that with a nice 3-point spread and all the pomp and circumstance and every celebrity in the world there. And, I'm just up here in Michigan right now watching the game and it's at 7-0. We were texting among the family saying, oh my God, he's going to win a national championship. but then TCU got the ball. And once they got the ball, it was like, oh my God, they have 70 new players and they're not very good. Uh-oh. It's a long-term plan, it's long-term. Who do they play next
year? Sure. Speaking of long-term.
Speaking of long-term plans you never keep.
Yeah. Look at Joe learning. Look at Joe learning the transitions to get to refinancing. Gordon, how many times do we have to explain this? You buy a house, you get a 30-year mortgage. You're not going to keep that mortgage for 30 years. When's the last time somebody kept the mortgage for 30 years? When's the last time somebody kept the mortgage on average more than 4 years? This is why paying closing costs makes no sense, Gordon.
Well, and not in a rate environment like what we have. That's the reason why we started doing no-cost loans back in the 80s. Just because you were going to pay for whatever the rates were at that time. And if your timing was wrong and the rates were elevated, people were paying a bunch of closing costs to get rates that were obsolete months later. So, currently we're just under a full point below where we were in January. And yet, everybody criticizes date the rate. Date the rate is actually kind of played out. We touched 8% in October 23. We're 6.5 now. We were 7 3/8 in January. We're 6.5 now. So, at VA, FHA, you've got loans right now that are down near 6. And the whole point of what we did was we decided just to do a rate. We don't charge costs. We don't roll anything in, which is why if you've heard the ads that we ran, which you wouldn't really hear up in Michigan, the main point of it is that our toll-free number is 8779 no cost. And I kind of just, sort of threw in there that that's why it's not 8779 no out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the competition seems to tell folks that we're just rolling everything in. But I've been doing these since 1987. If I had been rolling something in, Curie's not that big of a town. I don't think I'd just be hanging out lying to everybody if it had been now. And it's 39 years of doing no closing cost loans. So Yeah, and the idea is just to avoid paying, save the money for something else, use it for a better purpose. And at this point, we just got licensed in Ohio, we're licensed in Michigan, South Carolina, Virginia, obviously North Carolina, where our home base is. So, any questions you have, it's very, very simple. The website is just, millerlending.com. Couldn't be any easier, really. And, Mr. Ovies is a multi-time client, which is really the whole purpose of the program.
Yeah.
Is that, when you go ahead and you refinance, if things change, situations change, you want to pull cash out, you want to go to a 15-year, you want to buy a third and fourth primary and become a Fed governor. There's all sorts of opportunities to avoid closing costs. Did that one just go right over your head?
No.
The Fed governor and the multiple primary homes?
No, yeah, it did actually.
Yeah,
My bad.
Lisa Cook, Bill Pulte.
Yeah, look, Gordon.
Okay, I'll keep it simple.
There's only
we slept like 4 seconds.
Yeah, there's only so much, and even on top of that, there's only so much my brain can retain at this time of the year between all the sports coming back and junior canes and
I'm too excited celebrating that Rangers comeback last night too because
there you go.
That was big for your boy.
There you go.
Oh yeah, right. Texas was down the whole game and they came back and it was a beautiful thing. Now I will be at the Tigers Mets games tonight and tomorrow, by the way.
Tonight.
So
you will see Privette Garner tonight.
Nolan
McLean pitching for the Mets.
That's who he is. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. And against Sawyer Gibson Long. So this is a big marquee matchup.
All right.
Two very well known starters.
But, all we are asking is for folks to contact Miller Lending. The most important thing to stress here too is that this is a conversation. One thing that I'll always respect about Miller Lending, and Joe experienced this earlier in the year, if it's not going to work out for you, you let people know. So the only way to understand what works for you and whether or not this is the right time to do it is to contact Miller Lending today. So go to millerlending.com/the OG. That's our landing page. You take this thing to close, you'll get a Raleigh Wine Shop gift basket. Saw a lot of Roback when I was bumping around Chapel Hill. A lot of Roback. I asked some people who were using the promo code. They use the promo code OG20. They're like, what? I go, yeah, use the promo code OG20. But we're going to get you a Roback when you take this thing to close as well. So it's all there. So Gordon, we appreciate it as always. Thank you for explaining this like I'm 5. And we will check in with you in a couple of weeks.
I've been doing Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader for about the last 20 years. So we're right there, Joe. We got it.
I'm going to send you a link for a super contest too for the NFL. You could be in it with me.
Perfect. I'm in.
Yeah, I know.
All right. No, cool. All right. All right. We'll keep texting all night, every night.
There we go. All right, Gordon. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
I mentioned Roback with Gordon, and I mentioned Roback when I was walking around Chapel Hill. So much Roback at Chapel Hill, man. And I ran into some listeners, and they were wearing Roback. I asked them 2 questions. I said, one, did you use the promo code OG20? They said, oh, no, not yet. And I go, okay, good that you haven't used it, because have you seen the Old Well polo?
The Old Well's nice. The game day one is really good too.
That one's nice too. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, so use the promo code for that. Okay. Use the promo code for that if you haven't used it yet. So big thanks to our friends at Roback. Look, it's game day in North Carolina. Game day in the Triangle. And you're going to look your best and you're going to stun on everybody else with these game day collections.
That's my list. That Wake Forest one, because we are going to talk to Dave Clausen tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. I was at Costco, as I mentioned earlier. I was at Costco and I saw somebody wearing the City of Oaks one as well. Yeah. And so look, man, you can wear them to Costco, you can wear them to a game, you can wear them to the office. That's the beauty of Roback. And use that promo code to save money. 20% off your order at Roback. Dropping new hoodies all the time too. So it is shorts and hoodie season. Again, that promo code is OG20 to save 20% off your order. It's funny. I was talking about detoxes earlier, but no, there's no detox. Sometimes you got to eat your feelings. You got to go to 2 Roosters and get some new flavors.
September flavors.
Well, real quick before you get to the September flavors, I know with Duke football, 2 Roosters is at Wallace Wade Stadium, and the Devil Tracks is an absolute banger of a flavor at Wallace Wade. So go check that out. I have not seen the September flavors yet. So what do we got here?
So it's a back to school theme, Swiss rolls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Swiss rolls that you get, Little Debbie or whatever they are. He threw those in a bunch of ice cream. That looks phenomenal. Strawberry toaster strudel, which is like a little bit of like a Pop-Tart, right? Fluffer Nutter cookie.
No.
A peanut butter base with gobs of Nutter Butter cookies.
No.
And marshmallow fluff.
I know I said it was detox mode for me, but no, I'm absolutely going to. Well, it's Tuesday, so Two Roosters not open, but tomorrow I'll be going to Two Roosters.
One more for you. Tang creamsicle. Orange vanilla base.
Whew.
It's a creamsicle.
Good stuff.
Buddy.
TwoRoosters.com. Make a whole night of it, man. Go to Two Roosters, get some pints of your favorite flavors, and then drop by the Butcher's Market on your way home and make it super easy peasy. Yeah, we talk about what you can get to grill for tailgates and hanging out in your back patio while watching your outdoor television and all that kind of stuff. If you are fancy pants like that you have an outdoor television to watch football. But sometimes you just don't have time. Like, that's me today. I just got time today. You know what would help? Getting a pre-made meal, sticking it in the oven, and being ready to go in an hour. What are you laughing at?
TVs are like $12 now. Fancy.
Joe. Some people, man. Some people don't have that $12. Just saying. So go to the Butcher's Markets and get those pre-made meals to make your life a hell of a lot easier with all the other things you got going on. That's the butchersmarkets.com. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group microphone here in studio in downtown Raleigh is Will Privette. For some of you, Will Privette rings a bell. That is Mr. Roll Pack. You still talk to CJ Leslie?
He DM'd me maybe in the last year or so randomly. I was like, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, man. And then that was it. Yeah.
I kind of love that.
That's great. That's great. So, but Will also has an interesting and unique to the area family tie and had a moment on Sunday with the Mudcats shutting down at 5 County Stadium. You, sir, got to throw the first pitch at 5 County Stadium. And there's a reason why you got to do that. There's a family connection there. There's a reason why the Mudcats are there on that land. And I thought it was appropriate that you were the one that was able to do that on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's just because I'm a big deal. That's really all it is. No.
Roll pack, baby. Yeah. Roll pack.
So that was my family's land 30 plus years ago. It was a tobacco field. And when Steve Bryant, the original owner, bought the Columbus Astros at the time out of Georgia, wanted to move them into North Carolina, he lives in Smithfield. He originally wanted at what's now the Lenovo site. But the owner of the Durham Bulls at the time, back in the 90s, Miles Wolff, implemented the 35-mile radius rule to where you could not have another minor league team within 35 miles. So Steve went on a hunt of looking for
36 miles.
Yeah, it's like 30, ends up being like 37 or 39 miles.
It's like, fine.
Yeah,
fine.
Here we are.
Fine.
So Steve Bryant looked for land that could hold what would be a minor league baseball stadium, AA at the time. And there was this tobacco field that was not available, was not for sale whatsoever. And Steve somehow set up a meeting with my father. My dad was a custom home builder by trade, so he built a lot of homes in Eastern Wake County, Nash County, all that fun stuff. And he met with my dad. So Steve loves to tell this story of what met with my dad at his office. My dad, if you've ever met Avon Privette, he can be out there sometimes, be a little bit of a wild card. Don't really know what to expect. He was on the planning board for Zebulon. My family's been involved in the Zebulon politics for a long time. Not involved now with all the crazy stuff that's going on with the town of Zebulon, but he met with Steve at his office, and Steve tells the story of my dad sits there. We sit down, and he has this box, and Steve goes, "I don't know if he's about to pull a gun on me. I don't know what's happening.
Give me this land."
Yeah, but my dad opens up this box, and it's full of letters.
Okay.
So his mother, which she passed way before me when I was born in 1990, was a huge baseball fan, huge Yankee fan. And she would stay up listening to the games on the radio all the time, and would write letters to the players and coaching staff, but she never sent it. But
this is back when AM signals would bounce and go for miles. Like you could back in the day, you could pick up 77 ABC out of New York on the right night. Yeah, it comes in pretty clearly because of the old AM signals and the strength. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, huge fan. And he said, if she was around she would be all for this. So my father, Avon, my mother, Debbie, Steve, and they went on a mission to secure the funding, which was not easy. There was a lot of pushback from a lot of different people, a lot of non-believers that didn't think that a minor league team could exist in a town of friendly people in Zebulon. And it did for 35 seasons. So,
there you go. Proof was there in the concept and the execution. So, and what was Sunday like then, man?
So when the news first broke, when this was happening about 2 years ago, it definitely stung. It was hurt. It hurt, right? Like that's my childhood. I grew up going there, fell in love with baseball at 13 in 2003. And from there on knew I wanted to work in Major League Baseball. So I spent every summer. I mean, there's 70 home games a year back then. I was there every single one.
You have to, everybody that I've ever talked to who has worked minor league baseball, like Ryan McGee wrote a book about this. Our friend Ryan McGee over at ESPN worked with the Asheville Tourists. And he had,
as fate would have
it. It's funny how that works out, right? I have a friend of mine who worked in Kinston, and she worked the concession stand, right? Like those are just like summers that you remember. It's like a completely different dynamic. Like you mentioned, the locals that are supported, because the locals have to support it. But things change, things evolve, right? So I'm sure it was kind of bittersweet understanding the business, but also what could have been on Sunday as you're out there doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when 540 opened up 20 years now.
That was a big deal.
It was. Everyone thought this was the thing. This was the timing. People are going to move towards Zebulon. It's going to be easier for the people in Raleigh and the surrounding areas to get to Zebulon. And it unfortunately never really panned out that way. But this whole week, so they do 6-game series Tuesday through Sunday, right? So I was at every single one this past week, exhausted from all that, but it was a lot of fun. It was great. They did great for the fans. There was a huge crowd Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But for me going out there, it was great. I've thrown out a couple of first pitches. In 92, I was 2 years old. The Pittsburgh Pirates came into town for an exhibition game, and I threw it out, right. Closer than we are right now.
Yes.
Did it again as a teenager, but being able to book in this chapter for Zebulon, it was a great honor, and it was awesome. I'm very thankful.
All right, so this is where I can editorialize,
please.
Right, like, why did Major League Baseball is to blame for this?
So,
and the way that they've kind of vertically integrated,
so
minor league baseball,
exactly. So after,
like, not to like give anyone local a free pass on how this went about, but it just feels like the real villain here is Major League Baseball.
So after the 2020 season, the minor league season got wiped out for COVID.
Yeah, the pandemic.
Yep. Major League Baseball took over minor league baseball, and they did a big reorganization and reshuffle, eliminating, I think, 40 low A or rookie ball teams. And the Brewers own the Mudcats now. So Steve sold off back in 2017, 18, I think. And they said, okay, if you're going to be a team, a minor league baseball team, you have to have these requirements. And if you look at the stadium, the original stadium was just the 3 grandstands, right? Back in 91.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Then
I do remember that.
2000s, they built what's now the concourse, which some people love, some people hate, because it's an interesting layout. But the clubhouse, which is the Will Privette clubhouse, actually, that will
remain the Will Privette clubhouse. Thank you very much.
That got built in about 2002. And at that time,
and I remember that,
the coaching staff, if you look at it, was a manager, a hitting coach, a pitching coach, and a trainer. That's it. So they built for accommodations for that, right? Now you look at these minor league coaching staff: manager, hitting coach, pitching coach, bench coach, strength coach, mental skills coach. Like it's doubled in size.
There's nutrition. There's there's all sorts of stuff now.
Exactly. So, and there's a lot more women in sports now in baseball. I mean, the Mudcats actually, they're part of their coaching staff. They have 2 females on their staff.
Right. And you have to have the facilities to accommodate all
Correct. So now there is a trailer that they.
I was going to say, something tells me even in 2002, that wasn't projected.
No, not at all. So the requirements are great as far as like batting tunnels, pitching tunnels, all that, like what they want. But Wake County didn't want to play ball.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What do you
I think
mean?
that's part of minor league baseball.
Oh, the romance of it all?
No, it's not romantic. It's the opposite of romance. You don't want to be in minor league baseball.
But you want to get out
when you're a player.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like this
you want to get out of
idea
this bus.
that, we need a tunnel. We need,
Yeah.
I saw that the Blue Jays' secret weapon is this, for the lack of a better term, glory hole where they can replicate pitchers with their spin rate. Have you seen this, Will?
I have not.
Okay, well, probably they don't call it a glory hole.
Don't look it up. Don't Google Blue Jays glory hole. That's probably not, at least not on company Wi-Fi.
They have figured out how to put up a sheet, right? Because as you know from TrackMan, they have all this data now.
Yeah.
So I can put in Paul Skeen's, cut fastball into the machine. Well, the Blue Jays were the first one to say, now, wait a second. If we just put like a little sheet here and a hole where the ball pops out of, we can really show our batters what the pitching motion looks like. They can have a better idea. And if you look, the Blue Jays their splits at home this year are phenomenal, off the charts. So my point being, that's fine for Major League Baseball. For minor league baseball, hey, man, I get it. I know perhaps I'm stuck in 1978, but I want you to get up. I want you to hustle. I want to see you improve as the year goes along. I want to see that you could actually hit a curveball. I want to see that you have the stamina to last the whole year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you coddled at the minor league level. That's different from, hey, we don't have access for women, or hey, we can't take care of whatever. That's different. Like, this feels like luxury amenities for minor leagues that I just feel like you don't need.
Would you? Well, hold on a second.
You see what I'm saying?
Would you rather the players get paid more rather than getting more amenities? Because I mean,
no,
there's an aspect of like
remember the minor
wages.
League, but remember the minor league doesn't pay the team. The major league parent club pays the team.
Yeah.
That's why they vertically integrated all of this, because they were the ones for all these years saying, "Well, I'm paying the player."
Yeah.
Now
they got a pay raise recently. Like
they did.
It's still not.
But the one, not great. The one thing I do like is they have to take. The one thing I do like is they have to take care of their housing now, right? That's part of the new.
Some of the
or certain levels, I'm sure.
So back 20 years ago, you had 6 dudes in a two bedroom, 3 bedroom apartment, right?
Yeah.
And their girlfriends and all that would come in and whatnot. And it's
you don't need that.
It's 2025. You can't be loving.
And I'm not sitting here saying don't have a hot tub. Don't to take care of yourself physically after a game.
Joe.
What I'm saying though is like just play the fucking games. God damn, man.
It does show you how we've gotten somewhat comfortable as a society, right? You're talking about all these things that need to be. I just did a campus tour of UNC Greensboro with Caleb. And when I walked into
don't fall for the tour, buddy.
Dude,
do not fall for the tour. Do not fall for the fucking mixtape.
He goes, no, this is not me. I swore to him, like, he's like, well, I mean, do we have to go to App State? Do we have to go to UNC Asheville? I go, yes and yes, because just because the esports arena wowed you. I mean, don't get me wrong, the esports arena was nice at UNCG, dude. But
you're going to be in the 1957 dorm, I promise you.
Right. No, and like, oh, they showed you the food court. I'm like, we've come a long way since Fountain. Okay.
Which they tore down.
I didn't realize they tore down
that
Fountain.
whole West Campus, man, is freaking under attack.
Okay. Even Kelly, because she got to at least experience at Carolina, she experienced Lenore after they had just redone it. And that was the nice cafeteria. Man, I walked in there. I was like, yo, this is luxury. Like it looks like Disney World. Like I'm at Chef Mickey's right now with all the food. My point is that there's a level of expectation for amenities that has to catch with the times.
Sure.
So
I'm not trying to fight progress, but I'm just saying I want the motivation. Remember the guy with the bowls? Like, oh, they had sewer water or whatever. The guy was in jail now for molesting or raping somebody.
I took a turn.
He did.
No, I know.
All right, it's a thing. But it's like he was like, oh, they got sewer water down there, and it's like, no, that's good, man. I'm glad. I hope they gave you fucking pumpkin pat,
get out here.
Sewer rats and pumpkin pie, because
I think
you don't want to be there.
The issue seems to be that Wake County has its priorities, and
now this is where we get into the local area.
We get the local.
It's like I just like railing against.
I know. It's like
the nameless,
here we go.
faceless Major League Baseball.
Here we go. Joe's on this kick.
I think what we need to do is Joe, with your strong stance, you can volunteer to be a host family for the players.
For all of them.
The entire team can just stay with you.
Yeah. In hockey, it's billet family. That's what you want to. That's what you want to do.
No, that should come out of the parent club's pocket. I'm not advocating to save them any money.
So I think though what's at issue here is you do have the integration with Major League Baseball, but there's also the local politics of Wake County and taxpayer dollars and what they are prioritizing. And if we've been paying any attention to what Wake County has been prioritizing, it is not a minor league baseball field out in Zebulon.
And it wasn't 30 years ago either.
No, and it really wasn't. The priority right now is a lot of the mixed use projects that are being built in downtown Raleigh, Red Hat Amphitheater moving. I mean, these are all important. I'm not diminishing these things in any way, shape, or form, but there is a clear push to revitalize downtown and use the taxpayer dollars for new mixed-use facilities here. There's also another guy who wasn't here 30 years ago, and his name is Tom Dundon. And I don't bring this up in a negative way. I'm simply saying that he has come in here and he has disrupted the priorities for everybody. And I think the vision is good. Mm-hmm. The vision is good for what they're doing at Lenovo Center. However, that money has to come from somewhere. And I don't want to get deep into the weeds as to whether or not Big Four sports owners who can go out and buy another Big Four sport team like the Portland Trailblazers, whether they need taxpayer dollars or not, that's a different conversation for a different day. But clearly this is the game that's being played and something's got to take a hit. And it just so happens that the Mudcats were the one that took a hit.
Yeah, I know that the Mudcats did propose to Wake County and to everyone their vision of what they would like to have, right?
Yes.
So obviously you have the behind the scenes upgrades that were mandated, but they also wanted to upgrade things for the fans as well, for the fan experience. So play space, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But someone did not want to play ball, and here we are.
Well, I am glad Wilson did, though. I do feel like, I mean, I'm sure you will go to some games in Wilson. Go see them play.
Sorry, what did you say? Maybe we'll see. Never say never.
You love baseball.
I do.
And there's gonna be throwback Mudcats.
I'm not saying go every night. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
I will definitely go see a game in Wilson.
Much like the Whalers, there's gonna be a Mudcats night.
No, there will be. They won't do it for the first year.
No,
but they will do that.
No, I mean, the Marlins. I remember the Marlins did this when they switched over to the Miami Marlins, and I was mad. And I went to a game, and I'm looking for the throwback stuff. Like, no, we got rid of all the F and the old Marlins logo. Give it 5 years, though. Sure enough, they brought it back, and I was the sucker. I was like, I must have that black F hat.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I totally understand that.
What are you more now? Switching off of the Mudcats, what are you more excited about? Bill Belichick's performance last night, or the arrival of Will Wade at NC State?
The reckoning's coming. No, here, and this is how I feel. You see on social media, so many people last night throwing shade and making fun. Let's worry about our own house first, y'all. Like, if NC State was an Alabama or someone of that magnitude of having constant success, then okay, sure, we can make fun. NC State's in no position to make fun of other organizations of how they're playing. Worry about not blowing a fourth quarter lead first, and then we can go from there.
On that note,
our favorite.
On that note, Will Privette, hey man, thanks for coming through. I wanted to kind of bring you in and kind of chronicle what's Sunday and closing all this stuff down and getting a little bit more into the weeds as to why we're here. I know when we had David Lawrence, general manager of the Mudcats last week, he couldn't quite get in all those details, and really wasn't the time or the place. It was to celebrate the Mudcats and get rid of a lot of great merch. Hopefully,
they had great. I was really impressed with the bags that they had. So they had brown paper bags. That they gave away all weekend.
Bags,
This is why I'm mad I didn't get the chance to go. My schedule just not break.
I was looking for.
I wanted to go, and I had talked to the kids about it. And my original plan was to go on Friday night, but some other stuff came up, and then Sunday ended up being just life, man. Like I had things to do. That Costco run had to happen, and I just couldn't make it out to 2:00. So
it was the whole weekend was great. A ton of fans were out there. The concession stand lines were wild. As far as standing in line for an inning or two, if not more. So I was trying to tell everyone, eat before you go. Like you're not even going to see the game. But the bags, they had old programs. So I think Dave brought you one.
I got the Jordan one. With the Birmingham Barons.
Old programs. They had like these old kind of affiliated hats that were kid size almost. But there was some that had a jersey, like your jerseys in there.
Unreal.
So it was very impressed. They did a good send off, and a handful of the people that worked in the front office there are going over to Wilson. So Packer, who's the ground screw, he's been there for 20 something years. He's going over there as well. So the field will will look good. But I did bring something I thought y'all would like to see.
Okay.
This is so the Mudcats and their 35 seasons won 2 championships, 2 in the Southern League, 1 in 95 and 1 in 2003.
Okay.
When they were with the Marlins with Dontrell and Miggy on that team.
It's kind of a good squad.
It was a really good team.
Just a couple guys.
Yeah, you know.
Just some dudes.
Yeah, just a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah. So anyway, so luckily, so my dad, when they won in 95, Steve Bryant got my dad a championship ring in 95. And then I fell in love with baseball, and this is the 2003 championship
Here, I'm
ring.
going to say,
Yeah.
I'll take that real quick so you can actually view this properly on the YouTube cameras here. That is nice. It's a little, there we go. Focus, camera. That's nice. Good thing I cut my fingernail.
I also get
that's great.
It has the Marlins logo on the side for the affiliation.
That's good stuff. I like that. With the Mudcats, Privette, I love that. That's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
I also get that your family obviously stayed.
Oh, there it goes. Well, it's fine.
We'll get it. It's right.
It's gonna go on the wall now.
No, there you go.
Thanks. I think it's really cool that the guy, sometimes people will drive by, and actually I know a story of my uncle did this where he drove by a house and was like, I want to buy your house. And the people were like, what the fuck are you talking? We're not selling. It was in Cape Cod.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, I'm not. And then he stroked a number to them and they were like, when do you want us out? Like, I think it's cool that Steve Bryant had a relationship with your family to the point that you're here on the last day of the franchise throwing out the first pitch. Like, he didn't just come drive by your farm and say, here's a number, let me sell it. I think it's really awesome that not only your mom and your dad were able to be involved in the way that you guys were with this franchise. So
no, you're right. Steve is a very close friend. I got to see him. He came out. They had an alumni.
I'm glad he was able to come out.
Saturday. He came out.
I mean, that guy fought like hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, Miles Wolf, but let's be honest, our former employer was a pain in his ass as well. And the one thing I feel like, I think Luke did a really good job of this. Like when he was writing about the end of the requiem for the Mudcats, the Mudcats really are NC State. There's a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they have the colors.
They have the color, but it was also like, he always gets mad when I say this, but it's like, how hard is it really to run a team when they make the most famous baseball movie of all time about your fucking franchise?
Yeah.
Like, I could sell tickets for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, when you're the Mudcats, it's like, you got to fight, you got to scrap, you got to claw. There's big wolf pack energy there. It ain't soft.
I'm just shaking my head because
it ain't for soft people.
Once again, you've managed to make it about NC State, but you're undefeated.
But
you're
true.
undefeated.
But it's true.
So
in terms of the mentality, and I'm just tipping my hat to Steve Bryant for all the things that he went through to get to 35 years. I mean, I know he sold it before then, but I think he did I think what he did, I can understand the strife.
Well, I just would like to say that Steve, Joe, and Eric Gardner, the GM and assistant GM for many, many years there, did a great job keeping the stewardship, keeping it going for 35 years. He had cattails. I don't know if y'all ever eaten.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I had my
show from there back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because when I was at 850 The Buzz, there was a relationship with the Mudcats. I used to one of my first jobs in radio was running the board for Patrick Keenis when he was the play-by-play guy for the Mudcats back in the day.
Yes, he was.
So we had a relationship with 850 The Buzz. We would carry their games. We would do stuff out there. And I remember doing a show at it because that was a big deal when it opened up.
Yeah, it was great. I've partied there. New Year's Eve parties there. My family, I have 3 sisters and myself. We've had 2 rehearsal dinners and a wedding reception there at Cattails.
Nice.
But Steve was fantastic to my family and to me. It got a career of baseball for me as far as I worked in Major League Baseball for Cleveland, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh, and was given a lot of opportunities to have inside access over the past 35 years. And I'm very grateful, and they will be missed. And what I've said, and you touched on this earlier, is that so many kids' first jobs were out there, right? Bat Boy, concession stands, part of the Cats crew. And it's kind of a rite of passage back in the day. Yeah. And it's gonna be sorely missed, and we'll see what happens at 5 County next year.
Oh, appreciate you coming in, man. Good stuff as always. And we'll see if the reckoning actually happens. All right, man.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Easy. Seeing the drunk Al and all his party fans reminds me. Big shouts to Michael P. People have been enjoying. They've been enjoying the After Dark graphics.
Yeah.
That's good work from Michael on that. And we'll have more of those as we continue to do some After Darks to kind of refresh some of the backgrounds here on the YouTube channel. If you're listening on podcast, we appreciate that. But, sometimes you got to be a visual medium and got to refresh a little bit. So Mike's going to be helping us out on that. Just like Hometown Realty can help you out with selling your home or getting into the neighborhood you've been eyeing for a long time. And also understanding how the market dynamics are right now. You keep hearing from your friends, oh man, things are just not moving, or you go by the neighborhood and you see that this home has been for sale for a long time and you're wondering what's up with that. Get answers rather than speculating. Go to Hometown Realty. Check them out online at myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. Somehow Giglio has roped me back into doing some fantasy football. We've got a small gathering of auction draft on Wednesday. We'll be at Shady's. Shady's, of course, our folks, Whitaker and Hamer.
Yeah, no, we should have 12 without you. I mean,
I don't
I
have
think,
to participate?
I think it's a little bit of like in case of glass.
Okay.
Break glass. Emergency.
Back in the 850 The Buzz days with Chris Clark and Russ Henry and Mike Solarte.
Yeah.
We could not get, shout out to the Marble Man. We could not get to a even number. So sometimes we would create a dummy team and we called them the Craptacular Idiots. So if you need me to be the Craptacular Idiots, I am there for you.
Potentially. We'll see how it goes.
Set me on auto draft.
Yeah.
In the meantime, but
there's no auto draft on an auction.
But we can do a contract here. Like we can negotiate this.
Yes.
Whitaker and Hamer can help you out with such things.
Perfect. All of your legal needs, our friends at Whitaker and Hamer, Josh Whitaker, Joe Hamer. If they're smart enough to come up with WH.lawyer, they're smart enough to help you with all your legal needs.
So check them out, WH.lawyer. Also, big thanks to our friends at Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority, bugsbite.com is the website. You can bundle and save. Don't be duped by the weather this weekend. Man, it was sexy. It was nice. But that heat's coming back.
Noon kick on Saturday. I can already tell you it's just not going to be comfortable.
Gross. Which means there's more opportunities for mosquitoes to breed. Get a handle on that. I can tell you this. I know when I moved into my house back in 2010, with the creek running through the background, moisture retention in the backyard, like it takes a while to dry. You step outside, you'd be eaten up by mosquitoes. Since we've been using Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority, that's been kept in check. So I highly recommend. I can do yard work and not feel like I've been eaten alive. That is the beauty of Mosquito Authority. It's a win. So check them out online at bugsbite.com. Again, that's bugsbite.com. Let's get out of here on some Hey Joe. As I pointed out last night, as the Tar Heels were just getting it handed to them in the fourth quarter, I had put this out on social media, and it was a picture of Mac Brown biting his bottom lip, and I said that this is me watching the OG Sports Phone notifications hit. Y'all know how I feel about these things. I root for the show. And between Thursday night's NC State ECU game and Monday night's Bill Belichick debut, we could not have asked for a better start to the college football season here at OG Media LLC. So we appreciate everybody who's been watching us on YouTube. We appreciate everybody who's been listening on podcast. Throw us a like, follow us, 5 stars only, positive vibes only. All that stuff helps out with the algorithm and podcast discovery. So if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, throw us 5 stars because that helps with the growth of the podcast. We appreciate that. As do the calls. Just shows us that you guys are engaged. You guys want to get these things off your chest. So let's go right back to the OG Sports Phone and see some of the ones that came in overnight from the Bill Belichick debut disaster in Chapel Hill.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
As always, Sports Phone brought to you by our friends at Nature's Relief. You can check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com. Check out Tail Chaser, their wine alternative made with THC. It's pretty good stuff, and it does the job. Trust me on that. Let's go to 336.
Hey, guys. Love your show. Question. Is Bill Belichick to UNC as Steve Spurrier was to the Washington Redskins? Pretty close. Thanks.
That is a If you're coming at it from the perspective, and I don't know where the caller is coming from on this, but let me infer. If you mean to say that Spurrier going to the NFL thinking, I can still keep my tea time, I can make fun of the fact that all these guys are bragging about how they're up until 3 a.m. and they don't leave the facility and all I'm doing is eating tape and blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, guys, how hard can this be? And then Spurrier found out the hard way. No, it actually is hard. If you're inferring that Belichick had an inverse attitude with college, I'm like, come on, guys, I've won multiple Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to out-scheme you. I'm the 33rd NFL team. And all these college coaches are going, oh, really? Oh, you think it's easy?
I think there was some of that to Spurrier going to the NFL. Like, I can out-scheme you, or we're doing stuff where you can't keep up.
If that's what you're inferring,
and I'm going to bring Danny Werfel with me too.
You might be onto something. Here's the 919.
So fair to say the Tar Heels are the Toronto Maple Leafs of college football, right?
Yes and no.
I mean, they are a cap team.
Failed promises, sure. Like this is the year we're going to be. This is it. But
they don't have the talent the Maple Leafs do.
They also don't have the fire and brimstone that happens when you don't fulfill the promise.
Yeah.
Whereas with Toronto, they don't win. People lose their freaking minds, and it's nonstop on TSN and the sports talk up there. When Carolina loses in football, it's just like, okay, so what do you do? Where we going? Back to he's not. We want to talk about the basketball roster. There's a little bit of a difference there.
You want to talk about Mount Rushmore of Carolina basketball players?
Look,
today's a good day for that. I mean, perfectly fine.
I do not mean to bring this up in any way, shape, or form in terms of shade, because if I had to do this on a daily basis, I might change my approach as well. But I noticed as a subscriber to various Locked On podcasts, Locked On ACC, Locked On Wolfpack, and Locked On Tar Heels, I thought it was amusing that today was Tar Heel debate. Who's on the Mount Rushmore of UNC athletics?
Oh, athletics. So you get LT, MJ, Mia Hamm. Got it.
And then is Max Johnson the answer at QB? Again, no shade. I wouldn't want to talk about that last night either.
I mean, two of them were there.
So you know what?
Or three. I think Mia was there too, right?
Yeah. Let's play the hits. Let's go to 252.
The things Manny Diaz is going to do to Bill Belichick will not be allowed to be shown on television. What a shit show. Go Devils. No words. This is hilarious.
Now, hold up. Manny Diaz should have been able to do that to Mac Brown, and that did not happen. Okay. Now that I mentioned it, though, we always joke, and I know the Shutdown Fullcast is on this as well. When Mac Brown would beat somebody, there usually was this life force sucking handshake hug that would occur after the game, right? You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Like Mac would make sure, like, oh, no, you're not leaving this embrace. I must absorb your life force. I'm taking it from you. And like he did that to Manny, I think, last time. And Manny had every reason in the world to beat Mac Brown and didn't. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'm wondering if Mac Brown did the life force sucking thing from UNC. Just in general. Ooh. He was wearing I've taken your life force and now I'm wearing my Texas gear again. Right? I don't know.
That's maybe interesting theory.
Maybe there's something to that. All right. To a 910.
Hey, shout out to myself for being the first NC State fan to ever call into the show. But I'm almost like outraged on behalf of UNC fans, dude. What was the tackling there? I know Mac Brown had issues with tackling, but there were like simple counters, like simple runs that just bounced off 2-3 different tacklers. That was embarrassing. But the good thing for them is they have at least a couple more wins left on the schedule. They have a bad Wake team, a bad Stanford team, Charlotte, Richmond, a bad UCF team. They can make a bowl, but like they aren't paying him to make a bowl. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is. I know Luke DeCock wrote about this in the News and Observer. If this were like Jeff Monken, who had taken the job, right? Okay, well, we talk about this differently.
Yeah.
But they didn't hire Jeff Monken. They hired Bill, I think, Belichick, and that's not why you hired him. Not to be told, oh, no, we're going to be a tougher team at the end of the season. Well, you got nowhere to go but up, man. Nowhere to go but up. 540.
Hey, guys, it's Ben from Bull City Coordinators. Just calling to check on the podcast rules here. After that win last night, after that game last night, does TCU get to say scoreboard motherfucker to the Tar Heels? Just checking. Let me know what you think. And more important, let's go Duke. Beat Illinois this Saturday. Let's go Duke. Keep up the good work, guys.
It's a light schedule this week. So that Duke Illinois game actually will get some national run.
Yeah.
Noon game. Well, if I'm motivated enough. Oh, no, I'm going to be at State. State's at noon too. Damn it.
I believe this came to us from Sean, a text 804. Man, State fans are never beating the allegations, but they should have enjoyed last night. By the way, Duke fans the same way. You notice that most of our calls are coming from outside UNC fandom.
Yeah.
Outside UNC fandom.
Well,
but that's the triangle.
That is, but it's all, I mean, there is something to like that last caller pointing out the schedule. Like I always go back to the schedule. I mean, it's very friendly. But it really does become, how do you handle this loss?
Yeah.
And by the way, spoiler, Clemson's going to come in here and kick your ass the same way.
I keep saying that. And then how do you bounce back
and
from
then
that?
how do you recover from that? Because that's when the schedule gets hard. Like we can all agree they're going to be 3-1 when they play Carolina.
Mhm.
Okay.
When they play Clemson.
Excuse me, when they play Clemson. But then from there, you're 3-2. Okay, well, what do you do with the last 7 games? And I got news for you. Those last 7 games are all coin tosses.
Yeah.
Like there's none of those games on those 7 that I go, yeah, they're definitely going to win, because it's at Cal, Virginia, at Syracuse, Stanford, at Wake, Duke here, State there. Like I watched Wake this weekend and I shudder for my Wake friends because I don't see them winning a conference game this year. But other than that, even the game down there, they're going to be jammed up. They'll be better by the end of the year too.
All right, let's go 252.
What the actual fuck was that? Guys, I'm done. I'm done with Carolina football. I've been a fan for as long as I can remember. I'm cutting ties with Carolina football. I'll always support University of North Carolina. I'll always be a North Carolina basketball fan. But as of today, I am done with Carolina football. Like, the reasons have been piling up, but last night was a straw that broke the camel's back. If you can't win with Bill fucking Belichick, like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm done. Matter of fact, you know how the old saying goes, you can't beat them, join them? I think I'm going to become a Clemson football fan. At least doing that if we're guaranteed to be ACC good. Like, it's fucking stupid, man. Fuck.
Who was the Clemson football player that was a Carolina basketball fan? And he showed up to the Clemson North Carolina game, like rooting for Carolina. I forgot who it was.
There's any number, but there is a lot of people who are Clemson football, Carolina basketball. Like, that's a big thing in the state of South Carolina.
Makes sense to me.
Like,
man, it makes sense to me.
You know,
919.
What's up, OG? This is Miller from the East Crossroads. Big State fan, waking up this morning, absolutely elated. If I am anything like all the other State fans, everybody's waking up with huge chubs this morning. A couple of things. Number one, I think TCU was a better team than people gave them credit for, but nobody talked about them because all anybody could talk about was Bill Belichick, this and that. I think TCU was a damn good team. And number two, I think UNC should feel like idiots for paying this man $50 million for him to act like he was cooler and better than everybody in that stadium. I didn't see him talk to a player one time, and maybe that was just me not paying attention, but he seemed like such an asshole, and they are paying him $50 million for the pleasure of treating everybody like peons. So they deserve this. I am so happy. But let's all remember, UNC's got an easy-ass schedule, so we'll see where this goes. But enjoy the podcast. Y'all keep doing your thing. Thank you, what you do.
now you've been on the train that the whole year will be a disaster. So you're not coming off of that, right?
Well, to be clear, I don't think it's as easy as looking at the schedule and saying it's an easy schedule.
Okay.
That's what I have said.
Yeah.
That's all I've said. In fact, a former colleague of ours texted me this morning saying over under 4 wins. I'm like, they'll get over 4 wins. We'll get over 4 wins.
I think 8-4 is still in play for them.
What I would, if you want to classify it as a disaster, is relative. I get back to what I was saying about
last
if
night
you
was
hire,
a disaster.
not only that, but if you hire Jeff Monken, okay, there's some explanations you can do. You're rebooting. You're also
they weren't going to hire Jeff Monken,
but you get what I'm saying.
I know,
You bring Scott Satterfield back.
Who lost to Tarleton State.
Yeah, I know. You bring Satterfield.
Sure.
Satterfield finally comes
John
home
Summerall from Tulane.
Right, something like that. There's just some justification of man, we're rebooting here, and we're gonna go from there, right?
They wouldn't bring in 70 players though. They would not do that.
That's not this. And again, it gets back to what some of our callers and a lot of the reaction is. You brought Bill Belichick here. The expectations are different, and I will not come off that. So if you want to say that's a disaster, if they win 6 games, 7 games, yeah, I'll classify. You didn't do that just to go to a freaking bowl.
Isn't 8-4 the definition of triangle good?
Yeah, but that's not why you hired Bill Belichick.
I'm just saying.
But at least, but
that proves your theory.
It does check
it proves
off
all of our theories.
One of them. It checks off one box. Now I need a college legend to do it.
Oh, to actually come back and do it?
Yeah. Like we got the answer. A Hall of Famer can't even do this? A multi-Super Bowl winner can't do this?
Well,
now I need Nick Saban to do it.
Now, wait a second.
You see what I'm saying?
Let's think of you're specifically, I say the triangle, right? You're saying Carolina and Carolina and State. But Steve Spurrier and Mike Elko did do it because they're the ones who got hired.
Okay.
Remember.
Two things. It was 1980s for Spurrier. Completely different.
There was no Florida State.
Completely different era. Mike Elko was here for 2 years.
I know.
And it was triangle good. It was still triangle good. Still triangle good.
No, they beat Clemson.
Cool.
When Clemson was down.
That's good.
They beat Clemson.
That's good.
And they did lose the Notre Dame game. So, okay.
That's all. 828.
Hey, Joes. It's Jake, the Duke fan, calling back. I have a more concise way of asking my question or making my point is about the Carolina football game last night, which I went to for some reason. And yeah, as a Duke grad, like I said, I don't really get football. I don't really even know the rules very well, so I defer to you. But my question about Carolina football is like, at this point, like, what are we doing? Like, what's the point? And as the meme goes, like, what's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? What is Bill Belichick up to? What's the game plan? And final question is, like, I'm not trying to, like, pander to you guys, but one of the only things I can think of that would make this better, in addition to a Duke sweep of Carolina and hanging banner number 6 of 2026 in Indy, is Will Wade, my guy, who I love, showing the world that NC State's mega donors didn't overpay to buy out Keith's contract, because I understand a mega donor kind of wrote a check, which is really cool. I think, what is it, the SAS founder billionaire, which is sick. And just showing that, yeah, Will Wade was a great hire and actually will bring NC State basketball back. Because, yeah, what are they paying Belichick $10 million for, or his kid? Like, what the hell's going on? And can we just, like, give up the charade that Carolina football will ever be serious? Yeah, that's my question. Just, like, big picture, you guys know ball, you guys know the history. I just don't understand, like, what's the point? Thanks.
So I think what you're getting at will be interesting to find out is how are people going to handle this experiment failing with Bill Belichick and then State being good in basketball and sticking it to Carolina because they went like we chose hoops over football. And then now not only did you spend all this money on football and it just kind of fell flat on your face out of the gate, now NC State seems like they've kind of gotten with the program, right? A little recalibration, and they brought in a guy that is getting attention.
Oh, hoops.
Okay. So you got the double whammy, right? That would be, we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. I don't know the answer to
also, Jim Goodnight gave money to build a math building on campus. Yes, but no, he was not the one.
No.
Show Brian McMurray a little bit of respect for
good
what
night.
he did.
Good night doesn't care about sports. 919.
Hey, Joe Ovies. This is Bluegrass Matt, and I have a favor to ask from you. Can I borrow your Hulu login? I'm kind of interested to see how this UNC football, behind the scenes thing works with the blowout loss to TCU. All right, appreciate it. Go Pack.
No,
I thought he was going to say, Ovies, you were really right about your Arch Manning.
Nobody ever tells me I'm right. It's fine. I'm used to it. But no, you cannot borrow my Hulu login because
They've been cracking down. Actually,
they're cracking down. I don't need to get locked out of my Hulu. Sorry, love you, mean it, but I can't do that. 919.
Dave Dorn can't hurt me at all this season. And I have one petition to the great producers at ABC, Disney, ESPN, that whole conglomerate. Please, please, for the love of God, put Chapel Bill on primetime ABC every single week this year. Please.
I enjoyed Dave Dorn can't hurt me. All right, we got 3 more. 919.
Hey guys, Chris here. Just wanted to react to the Belichick deal. After sleeping on it as a Tar Heel fan myself, I kind of equate it to the ESPN nonsense of what went around, excuse me, Coach K's retirement tour. It was the Bill Belichick welcome tour. We had the ballyhoo. We had all of the nonsense that went along with the coverage. Honestly, the dishonest coverage because we just wanted to preach about the name. But if you look in every episode, every interview, there was a whole regardless of what the question was. But to me, again, it kind of compared to Coach K's retirement tour, especially the last couple games, to where we had all the celebrities, just like we did at the UNC game last night.
How many celebrities did we really have last night? I get the point. I do agree with the overall premise of the call in that it had a little air of, whereas Coach K deserved the accolades for what he has accomplished in college basketball. Yeah, you're setting yourself up for disaster, which is exactly what happened for Coach K in his farewell tour, right? And I think Bill Belichick was already the story was already written for Belichick's return without actually seeing what the results were going to be, and they set him up for failure. So, but as far as the celebrity goes, I don't know, maybe I've recalibrated my own.
I'm revoking your Gen X card, man.
Because who's it for? Most recruits. And I've said this about Bill Belichick.
Why does it have to be about recruits, though?
Because everything in college football is about recruits. That's why. And it actually shows you yet again one of the issues with Carolina, man. It ain't the 90s anymore. Okay? Right. And when you drag out people to make you feel good, just like they did the first go round with Mac, like the 90s might make you feel good, but how is that portraying to those coming in? Hey, man, this is where you want to be.
See, I took it more of like, this is a really big event on campus that I don't remember Michael Jordan going to a football game. I don't remember the last time Michael Jordan was at a football game.
And he had regrets because he left in the third quarter,
too. And then LT, I remember, was at one of the Thursday night games under Butch, and then like almost immediately got arrested very quickly after that. So it's like, I just took it as like a celebration of, I don't think they were trying to portray them necessarily as celebrities, more of just like, wow, look at this. These guys never come. These guys are Carolina royalty.
They're
sports
I got that.
legends.
All right. I got you on that.
Goodness gracious.
I got you on that.
Now,
that makes sense.
Aaron Boone and some of the other ones they panned through, I was kind of like, okay. Like, hey, give the Red Rifle a little credit. Was there this kid on the sideline? That was pretty cool. For TCU.
2 more. 252.
Hey, this is Aubrey from Wilson calling, NC State fan. I'm just basking in the glory last night of this great football game we saw. For 2 hours. For 2 hours last night, ESPN tried to make Chapel Hill look like heaven. They showed NFL players, UNC dignitaries. It was just the pageantry of it all, college football in Chapel Hill. They even showed the national anthem playing, the cigarette lighters in the crowd and everything. And then the game started. Woo! Woo! I've never enjoyed football games so much in my life.
By the way, this is not the first time, and it won't be the last time that people get intoxicated with Chapel Hill. This is a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
And I said this last night. I wanted to go see what it was like. And yeah, man, if you don't go to Chapel Hill a lot, and if you're a national media person, you go and you saw that, it's really easy to be intoxicated by it all. Because it's a really great setting, an incredible setting.
Then you start asking the questions: why aren't these guys? Wait, why haven't they won it since 1980? Why hasn't the state won it since 1979?
It's an endless loop, dude. All right, last call.
Joe and Joe, debriefing my thoughts from the game tonight. Second call in here, but if this game, the more I've thought about it, has led me to any conclusion, it's that I am now more than ever ready for Carolina to go ahead and just make the jump to the SEC. For a couple of reasons, sure, that's going to bring their revenue way up. $30 million a year or whatever it is that's coming as a result of being an SEC school. Fine. We already know, as of recent, that their football spending way outpaces states. So what's another $30 million going to do? Because as we just saw, tens of millions of dollars can only buy you so much. And in Chapel Hill, it apparently doesn't buy you very much. And second of all, if they go to the SEC, we're going to get to watch them get their shit pushed in like that every single fucking week. And I'd take that. I think I really would.
Jeez. You know what? The OG sports phone is the greatest invention.
I'm glad we invented the concept. I really am.
Yeah, I told you, we're revolutionizing local area sports talk by taking calls after a big sporting event, going live.
Amazing.
Who would have thought about this? Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Appreciate everybody who's been rocking with us. We will see you on Wednesday. Dave Clausen, get his thoughts on what happened last night.